The stars of the galaxy gathered in one place. On the shining world of Arvilora, the great council chamber stood like a mountain of crystal and steel. Its walls reached high into the clouds, glowing with the light of 1,000 suns. Inside, the voices of 100 of alien species echoed in a storm of sound, deep growls, sharp hisses, strange songs, and whispers that never seemed to end. The Galactic Council had called another meeting. It was supposed to be routine. It was supposed to be about trade, laws, and balance of power. But this time, something unusual had happened. For the first time in history, the name of a small planet was placed on the agenda. Earth! Most of the council did not even know where this little world was. Some laughed when they first heard the name. Others asked why such a weak planet was wasting the council's time. But a few voices, old, careful, and wise, spoke of danger. They whispered that humanity had refused a command. No species had ever done that before. The chamber was full that day. From the silver balconies, insectoid delegates clicked their claws together, eager for the drama to begin. From the lower levels, reptilian warriors struck the floor with their tails, sending heavy thuds through the air. The counselors of the bird-like aerolith leaned forward on their perches, eyes sharp as blades. And then the great doors opened. Every sound stopped. A single human stepped inside. He was not tall compared to the giants of the council hall, nor armored like the soldiers of other worlds. His clothing was simple, dark fabric with a crest of earth stitched in silver. But it was not his clothes that drew attention. It was the way he walked. Calm, slow, without fear. His eyes moved across the chamber, steady and unbroken, as if he was looking not at monsters, but at equals. A wave of murmurs rose among the delegates. Is that the envoy of Earth? This is a mistake. They are too young, too weak. Perhaps it will be amusing. The human did not answer. He simply took his place at the center of the chamber, under the great circle of light that shone down from above. The light was blinding, cold and white, meant to strip away any shadow. It made every move, every breath, every blink of the envoy clear to the eyes of the council. From the high throne, the speaker of the council rose. His voice was like thunder. People of Earth, you have been called to answer. Why have you ignored the command of this council? Why do you come here empty, without allies, without tribute, without fear? The chamber shook with laughter. Deep growls turned into mocking roars. Some slammed their claws on the table. Others bared their teeth in cruel amusement. To them, Earth was nothing. A fragile world of water and stone. A young race that had no place among the stars. But the human did not flinch. He raised his head, and his voice was quiet but steady. I still remember that night, he said, and every ear turned to him. The night when your command reached Earth. You demanded that we kneel. You demanded that we surrender our world, our freedom, and our future. The laughter softened. The silence deepened. His words carried through the chamber like a storm in the distance. And what did we do? The envoy continued. His eyes swept across the sea of alien faces. We spoke. We argued. We shouted at each other through the night. But in the end, our answer was the same. He paused. For a moment, the great hall seemed to hold its breath. Even the endless hum of machinery in the walls grew quiet, as if the chamber itself waited for the words. We will not kneel. The words were simple, but they fell like iron. Gasps spread through the chamber. Some counselors laughed again, louder this time, as if trying to break the tension. Others hissed in anger, their bodies stiff with rage. But a few, only a few, sat still, their eyes narrowed, their voices silent. They had seen something in the envoy's face, something that did not belong to the weak. The speaker's voice crashed down again. You dare defy the council. The envoy did not move. His shadow stretched long across the shining floor, dark against the white light. We dare, he answered simply. The chamber erupted into chaos. Shouts, growls, screeches, and heavy thuds filled the air. The noise rose like a storm, like a battlefield without weapons. Yet through it all, the human envoy stood calm, unmoving, like a rock against a raging sea. Far above, in the shadowed balcony, an old alien leaned forward. His skin was pale, his eyes dark with memory. He had seen many species rise and fall. He had watched countless wars. And as he looked at the human envoy, he felt something he had not felt in centuries. Fear. Because the envoy's words carried no pride, no arrogance, only certainty. And certainty was far more dangerous. The council chamber roared louder, but the old alien whispered to himself, unheard by others, "The galaxy does not know what it has awakened." The chamber shook with sound. Growls, hisses, and cruel laughter filled the air. It was like a storm of voices crashing down on one man. The human envoy stood alone at the center, surrounded by towering figures from 100 worlds. He had just said the words that no one dared to say. "We will not kneel." To the council, it was madness. From the left balcony, a reptilian warlord slammed his scaled hand on the stone. His voice was deep, like rolling thunder. "Arrogance! Your planet is nothing but dirt and water. You speak of defiance as if you hold power. You have no fleets, no armies, no allies. You are children playing with fire." A wave of laughter followed, sharp and cruel. The insectoid delegates clicked their mandibles in rhythm, a mocking chant. The bird-like aerolith leaned forward on their poachers, spreading their wings in amusement. Even the massive giants of the Vorax tribes threw back their heads and roared with laughter that shook the crystal walls. But the human envoy did not bow. His face remained calm, his eyes cold. He watched them laugh as if he had expected it. From the high throne, the speaker of the council raised his hand, and slowly the storm of laughter died. His eyes glowed with golden fire, and his words carried across the whole like blades. "People of Earth," he said, voice sharp, "you do not understand where you stand. This chamber has seen empires fall. This council has ended species that thought themselves mighty. Even predators who devoured worlds bent their necks when we commanded. Yet you, frail, fragile, young, dare to resist." His voice lowered, heavy with threat. "Do you know what happens to those who say no?" The chamber grew silent. The question hung in the air like a knife. The envoy lifted his head, and his voice was steady. "Yes, they are destroyed." Whispers spread across the balconies. Was this man a fool? Or was there something behind his calm voice? The speaker leaned closer. "Then why stand here? Why not beg for mercy before the blade falls?" The envoy's eyes hardened. The white light above him cast a sharp shadow across his face. "Because we know something you do not," he said. The chamber stirred again. "And what is that?" the speaker demanded. The envoy's answer was not shouted. It was soft, but every syllable was clear. "That destruction does not frighten us. We have lived with it since the beginning." The laughter started again, louder, crueler. Some counselors struck the floor with their weapons, mocking applause echoing like thunder. The reptilian warlord sneered. "Empty words. You speak like a child before execution. Earth will break in days. Your species will scatter like dust." But as the noise grew, a sound cut through it. A whisper. The human envoy touched a small device at his wrist. A hologram flickered into life above him. The chamber fell quiet, curiosity replacing laughter. The image showed fire, cities burning, towers falling into dust, men, women, and children running through smoke and ash. Then the image shifted, soldiers fighting in mud, in snow, in storms, faces blooded but unbroken, armies crushed only to rise again, nations rebuilding from ruins only to fight again when threatened. Gasps spread through the chamber. Some counselors tilted their heads in confusion. Others narrowed their eyes, watching in silence. "These are your wars," the speaker said, almost amused. "Yes," the envoy replied. "These are our wars, our history, our pain. Every fire you see, every ruin, every death. We survived it. We rebuilt. We endured." The hologram showed oceans swallowing cities, earthquakes tearing the ground, plagues sweeping across continents. Humanity had suffered again and again, but each time they endured. "This is why we will not kneel," the envoy continued. His voice grew stronger. "Because we were born in struggle. We were shaped by fire, by storms, by death itself. What you call destruction, we call life." Silence. The laughter was gone now. The reptilian warlord's grin had faded. The insectoid delegates clicked their mandibles no longer. Even the Vorax giants shifted uneasily in their seats. But then, A single voice broke the silence. It was Admiral Zylar, commander of the Council's war fleets. His armor gleamed like molten metal, his eyes burning with hatred. He rose from his seat, towering above the others. His voice thundered like a cannon. Enough of this. These humans bring nothing but arrogance. They show their scars as if they are trophies. They are weak. I demand they be punished. He slammed his fist on the council table. The impact echoed like a drum of war. I demand proof of their strength, or I will bring my fleet to Earth and erase this insult myself. The chamber erupted again. Some cheered, some shouted against him. Chaos filled the air. The envoy looked up at the towering admiral. His face did not change. Slowly, he raised his hand. The hologram shifted again. This time, it showed something different. Not humans in ruins. Not humans rebuilding. But something darker. Something the galaxy had never seen before. And in that moment, the laughter stopped. The chamber of the Galactic Council had gone silent. The human envoy stood under the blinding white light, his face calm, while the hologram flickered above him. The first images had shown Earth's ruins, Earth's wars, and Earth's survival. But now, the hologram showed something else, something darker. The image was of human eyes. Not one face, not one soldier, but thousands. Men and women staring into the camera with the same look, tired, scarred, but unbroken. Their eyes burned with something the aliens did not understand. The delegates leaned forward in their seats. Some shifted nervously. Some whispered in confusion. "What is this?" the speaker demanded. The envoy raised his voice, steady and sharp. "This is who we are, a people who do not bow, a people who have looked into the face of death countless times and still live. You asked for our submission." The hologram flared brighter. Images of nuclear fire lit the chamber. Cities turned to ash. The oceans boiled. Storms tore through continents. And still, humans walked through the wreckage, carrying one another, building again. The envoy's words cut through the silence like a blade. "Our answer is no." The words fell heavy. Gasps spread through the balconies. The insectoid delegates clacked their mandibles in disbelief. The reptilian warlord snarled, his tail striking the stone floor. Even the Vorax giants shifted uneasily, their roars caught in their throats. "No," the speaker repeated, his voice low and dangerous. "No," the envoy said again, louder this time. "We will not kneel. We will not pay tribute. We will not surrender our freedom. Earth will not obey." For a moment, the chamber was frozen. Then chaos erupted. Shouts filled the air, loud and furious. Some demanded war, others demanded punishment, others only laughed, convinced the humans were insane. The noise rolled through the hole like a storm. Admiral Zylar rose again, his armor glowing under the chamber lights. His voice thundered above the rest. "Fools! This is no refusal. It is suicide. They dare defy the council. They dare defy me. I will burn their world to ashes." He slammed his fist on the council table so hard that cracks appeared in the stone. Sparks of energy hissed in the air. The sound echoed like a cannon blast, silencing some of the voices. But the human envoy did not look away. His eyes met the admiral's burning gaze. "You think you can destroy us?" the envoy asked quietly. His voice was calm, but it carried across the entire chamber. "Then come. Try. You will learn the same lesson that our world has taught every predator." The admiral laughed, a cool sound that rattled the walls. "And what lesson is that?" The envoy's voice was steady as stone. "That the more you strike us down, the stronger we rise." For a moment, no one spoke. The words hung in the air, heavy, dangerous. Then the laughter returned. It rolled through the chamber again, loud and mocking. The reptilian warlord slapped the table with his claw, howling with amusement. The bird-like aerolith screeched in mocking song. Even the speaker leaned back, his golden eyes gleaming with cruel delight. They thought it was a joke. They thought it was a bravado of a doomed species. But not everyone was laughing. High in the shadows of the upper balconies, the old alien elder watched the human closely. His skin was pale, his eyes black with memory. He did not laugh. He did not sneer. He only stayed, and in his heart he felt the cold truth. This was no bluff. The human was not trying to scare them. He was not begging for mercy. He was telling them what would happen, and that made it far more dangerous than any threat. The speaker rose from his throne, his voice booming. Your refusal is clear, human. You have sealed your world's fate. The council does not forgive rebellion. The envoy looked up, his shadow stretching across the bright floor. His voice was calm, final. Then let the galaxy remember this day, the day Earth refused. The chamber roared again with anger, fear, and disbelief. But deep in the noise, something had changed. The laughter no longer sounded as certain, because somewhere in those cold human eyes, the council saw something they had never seen before. Not arrogance, not madness, but certainty. And certainty was a weapon sharper than any blade. The chamber still echoed with anger and disbelief. The council had heard Earth's refusal, and the storm of voices seemed endless. Some shouted for punishment. Others demanded Earth's immediate destruction. The laughter of the arrogant filled the air again, cruel and sharp. But then the human envoy raised his hand. The chamber slowly quieted. The white light above him glared against his face, casting sharp shadows. His voice was calm when he spoke, though the noise had only just faded. You think us weak because you see a small planet. You think us fragile because you see short lives. You think us foolish because we refuse your power. But you do not understand. None of you understand. The envoy pressed his wrist device again. The hologram above him shifted. At first, the images showed war, as before, battles in mud, in fire, in snow. But now the vision widened. The delegates saw deserts stretching to the horizon, storms tearing across oceans, mountains that froze men solid, and jungles that swallowed soldiers whole. The insectoid delegates leaned forward, clicking uneasily. These are death worlds, one whispered. No, the envoy replied. This is Earth. Gasps filled the chamber. The council had seen hostile planets before, places too deadly for most species to survive. But Earth was alive with humans, billions of them, walking freely through storms, climbing mountains, diving into oceans. You call us fragile, the envoy continued, but we were born on a world that kills us every day. Our storms drown us. Our fires burn us. Our diseases strike us without warning. And still we endure. The hologram shifted again. The delegates saw humans facing predators with nothing but fire and stone. They saw humanity standing against beasts larger than houses, claws sharp as blades. They saw hunters chasing prey through snow and desert, building weapons with bare hands. We do not fear predators, the envoy said. We learn from them. We became like them. A low murmur spread across the chamber. Some delegates who had once laughed now sat in silence. Others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The envoy's voice grew louder, steady and sure. Every species here has faced struggle. But when struggle came, you looked for safety. You searched for shelter. You built walls against the storm. But humans walked into the storm. We did not hide. We endured. We adapted. We overcame. The hologram changed once more. This time it showed humans not in war or survival, but in moments of rebuilding. Cities rising from rubble. Families holding each other in the ruins. Children laughing in places where the ground still burned. The envoy's voice softened, but his words carried weight. You think destruction will end us, but destruction has always been our companion. We do not fall. We rise. For a long moment, silence hung over the council chamber. The laughter was gone. The jeers were gone. Only the faint hum of the machinery in the walls remained. Then Admiral Xylar stood again, his armor blazing under the lights. His voice was harsh and mocking, but it no longer carried the same weight as before. Impressive illusions, old stories of survival. But they mean nothing here. We are not storms or beasts. We are fleets and firepower, and your kind is neither. The envoy turned his eyes to the admiral. His voice was steady, without anger, without pride. You think we have no weapons, but you do not understand our greatest weapon. The chamber leaned forward, waiting. The envoy's eyes moved across the alien faces, thousands of them watching him closely. Our weapon is not our fleets. It is not our technology. It is not even our strength. He paused, and the silence grew deep. Our weapon is that we never stop. You can burn our cities. We will rebuild them. You can kill our armies. Children will rise to take their place. You can even shatter our world. But as long as one human remains, the fight is not over. The old alien elder in the balcony closed his eyes, his chest heavy with fear. He understood. He had seen many warriors, many predators, many conquerors. But none had spoken like this. None had carried such certainty. The envoy stepped back under the white light, his shadow long across the floor. You think this is weakness. You think this is madness. But this is humanity. And if you force us into war, you will see the truth for yourself. The chamber was silent again. And in that silence, one thought spread through the council like fire. Perhaps Earth was not weak after all. The decision was made quickly. The council could not allow Earth's defiance to stand. If one small planet refused, others might follow. If humans could say no, others might find courage to resist. And so, Admiral Xylar prepared his fleet. It was not a small fleet. Dozens of warships, their hulls black as void, their weapons glowing with energy. They moved through space like shadows, swallowing the stars behind them. To the council, this was not war. It was punishment, a lesson. But Earth did not hide. At the edge of the solar system, near the dark orbit of Pluto, humanity waited. Their fleet was small compared to the Council's armada, fragile-looking ships of steel, fire, and determination. No alien in the Council chamber had believed they would stand their ground. Yet here they were. The two forces met in silence, separated by endless dark. Stars glittered like cold eyes watching from afar. Admiral Xylar's voice carried across the comms, sharp and full of scorn. You should have bowed when you had the chance. Your world will burn, and your people will vanish into dust. On the human flagship, Captain Elena Cruz stood at the command deck. Her face was pale, but her eyes steady. Her crew waited in silence, every hand ready. She spoke calmly, her voice firm. Admiral, you believe you face prey, but prey does not fight like this. Today, you will learn what it means to hunt a Death Welder. The comms cut, and the silence of space returned. Then, the first shot was fired. A beam of pure energy lit the void, tearing past a human cruiser. The ship shook, alarm screaming through its corridors. But the humans did not panic. They moved, fast and precise. The Council's fleet advanced in formation, perfect and disciplined. Their ships were larger, stronger, built for overwhelming force. They expected the humans to meet them head-on, to die in glory or in fear. But the humans did not fight like that. Instead, they broke into scattered groups, their ships darting in and out like wolves. They hid in the shadows of asteroids. They used the gravity of planets to sling themselves forward with sudden speed. They struck not at the strongest ships, but at the weakest points, the fuel lines, the communication relays, the blind spots no alien commander had ever considered. The Council ships fired again and again, their beams scorching the void. But the humans moved with chaos and purpose combined. One Council cruiser went dark, then another, their systems failing as human torpedoes found their marks. On the command deck of Xylar's flagship, anger burned. They fight without honor, he snarled, like vermin in the dark. But the elder alien in the Council chamber, watching from the live feed, whispered to himself, unheard, no, they fight like survivors. The battle grew fiercer. A human destroyer was torn apart, its pieces scattering like broken glass. Another followed, flames spilling into the void. Yet even as ships fell, the humans did not break. Each loss only made them fight harder, faster, sharper. Captain Cruz gave the order, her voice steady through the storm. Strike where they do not look. Strike where they do not believe we can. Her fleet moved like shadows, weaving between giants. They struck again and again, leaving wreckage in their wake. Hours passed, though in the chaos of war it felt like minutes. When the fire cleared, the truth stood plain. The Council fleet, mighty, unchallenged, certain of victory, was broken. Half their ships drifted in silence, dark and lifeless. Others fled into the deep void, their captains unwilling to face more humiliation. Only a few remained, gathering around Admiral Xylar's flagship like wounded beasts. The humans, too, had suffered. Many ships were gone, their crews lost. But their fleet still stood. Against the greatest armada the galaxy had known, Earth had endured. On her flagship, Captain Crew stood in silence, her crew watching her. She spoke quietly, but her words carried weight. This is only the beginning. They thought we were weak. Now they know the truth. Far away, in the council chamber, the delegates sat in stunned silence as reports came in. The laughter was gone. The arrogance was gone. Fear began to spread. One counselor whispered, his voice shaking, "If they can fight the council's fleet and survive, what else are they capable of?" The old alien elder closed his eyes. His voice was heavy with warning. "You fools! You thought to punish them, but you have only woken them, and nothing in this galaxy will ever be the same." The news traveled faster than light. From one star system to another, whispers carried the story. The mighty council fleet had faced Earth. They had gone to teach a lesson, to crush defiance, to burn a world into obedience. But instead, they had been broken. At first, many did not believe it. Council fleets did not lose. They had ruled the stars for centuries, crushing any who resisted. Entire species had vanished under their power. Yet now, in the great markets of the core worlds, merchants spoke in low voices. The humans stood against them and survived. On distant mining colonies, workers stopped their drills to pass the story along. "They are death welders," one miner whispered, "born from storms and fire. Even the council's warships could not end them." Fear spread, but it was not fear alone. Some spoke with awe, some with curiosity, and some with hope. In the dark halls of the council chamber, silence ruled. The delegates sat in heavy quiet, their arrogance broken. The speaker tried to control the chaos, but doubt had already taken root. "They are dangerous," hissed the reptilian warlord. His tail lashed against the floor. "If they are not destroyed now, they will spread like fire." But others did not agree. The bird-like aerolith tilted their sharp heads. "Perhaps it is better to make them allies," one said carefully. "If they can stand against us, imagine what they could do beside us." The argument grew hotter, louder. Yet while they fought among themselves, the human envoy returned to the chamber. He walked with the same calm steps as before, the same steady eyes that had unnerved them. This time, he carried no hologram, no proof, no images of war. He carried only words. The white light shone down on him again. His voice echoed in the silence. "You sent your fleet to destroy us. We endured. You thought we would kneel. We still stand. What will you do now?" The words cut deep. The delegates stared at him, some with anger, others with unease. Admiral Xylar was not present. His fleet was shattered, his pride wounded. Reports whispered that he lived, but his voice had fallen silent. The envoy looked around the chamber, his voice calm but sharp. "You call us reckless. You call us arrogant. But you forget, we have lived with death since our first breath. We do not fear you. We do not fear the end. We fear only chains." The old alien elder leaned forward from his balcony. His voice broke the silence. Chains break easily when placed on those born free. Some delegates hissed at him, demanding silence. But others listened. A dangerous shift had begun. Far beyond the council, in the hidden corners of the galaxy, soldiers and rebels heard the news. On worlds long oppressed, whispers turned into secret meetings. If humans could resist, perhaps they could too. And in the deep void, smugglers and mercenaries began to whisper a new word with respect. Humans. Fears spread through the galaxy, but alongside it spread something more dangerous. Belief. The speaker tried to control it. He rose from the high throne, his golden eyes burning. "Do not be deceived. Earth is nothing compared to us. They won a single battle. We will crush them with the full weight of the council." But the chamber no longer roared with confidence. Many stared at him in silence. Doubt was already in their hearts. The envoy's final words were simple. "You wanted us to fear you, but now it is you who fear us. And we have not yet begun." He turned and walked out, leaving the chamber heavy with silence. In the shadows above, the old elder whispered again, though none could hear him. "It has already begun. The galaxy is changing, and the humans are the fire that will shape it." The day had come. In the great chamber of the Galactic Council, every seat was filled. From the glittering stars of the core to the frozen edges of the rim, every species sent its voice. They gathered not for routine matters, not for trade or disputes, but for one decision alone. What would be done about Earth? The room pulsed with tension. Holograms of destroyed warships floated in the center, images of the Council fleet shattered above Earth. No one dared to laugh now. No one mocked the humans anymore. The speaker rose, his long robe dragging across the silver floor. His voice carried the weight of centuries of rule. Delegates of the Council, we face a threat unlike any before. A world that defies us. A world that resists when all others obey. Today, we must decide their fate. Murmurs filled the air, voices sharp, voices fearful, voices desperate. From the shadows, the old alien elder, frail yet unbroken, leaned forward. His words were soft but clear. Perhaps it is not their fate we decide today. Perhaps it is ours. The chamber grew still. Then the doors opened. The human envoy stepped inside once more. No guards, no escort. He carried only himself, his steady walk, his calm face, his unshaken resolve. The delegates watched in silence. Some glared at him with hate, others with fear, and a few with something like respect. The white light descended on him again. His voice rose in the silence. You have come to judge us. But let me remind you, we did not seek this fight. You brought it to our world. You tried to break us. And yet, here we are. He looked around, his eyes cutting through the shadows of the chamber. We will not kneel. We will not beg. We will stand, whether you accept us or destroy us. That is who we are. The speaker slammed his staff against the floor, his voice sharp as steel. You dare lecture us? You are nothing compared to council, nothing compared to the empires we command. But the envoy did not falter. His voice grew colder, stronger. You call us nothing, yet your fleet lies in ruins. You thought fear would control us. Instead, fear now walks these halls, and it is not ours. The words echoed through the chamber. Some delegates lowered their eyes. Others shifted uneasily in their seats. The truth was heavy, undeniable. The old elder's voice rose again. Do you not see? They are what we feared most, not because they are monsters, but because they are free. Born of a world of storms, raised in struggle, they are stronger than we imagined. To destroy them now would only prove their point. To accept them would change everything. The chamber broke into chaos. Some shouted for war, others for alliance. The speaker demanded silence, but order would not return. For the first time in centuries, the council was divided. The human envoy raised his hand, quieting the storm with a single sentence. We are not asking for permission. We are telling you this. Humanity will stand. With or without your counsel, with or without your approval, we will endure. And if you strike again, we will endure still. His words struck like thunder. No one dared to answer. At last, the speaker gave the final command. Then let it be known, the humans are enemies of the council. They will face our full power. Gasps filled the chamber, but not all voices joined in. Many stayed silent. Some even nodded in secret approval. The unity of the council had cracked. The envoy only gave a small smile. Then so be it. We have always fought against greater odds. And remember this, if you come again, it will not only be humans who resist. Your own subjects are watching. They see your fear. They hear our defiance. And they are learning. With that, he turned and walked away. The council chamber shook with shouts, but behind those shouts, something greater was stirring. Across the galaxy, on oppressed worlds and forgotten colonies, hope began to burn. The humans had stood. They had not broken. They had faced the greatest power in the stars and walked away unbent. And from that day forward, the galaxy would never be the same. For the first time in history, the council feared not monsters, not empires, not rebellion. They feared humanity.